Hey there guys, Outlaw Dolphin here, and we're going to continue our Dragon Age Inquisition. And last we left off, we completed the Emerald Graves and we did some side quests for the likes of Josephine, Cole and Dorian. I believe we're going to continue with the Exalted Plains next. Now I am itching to go to the Frostback Basin, but it suggests that I should be level 20 before I go there. I know I'm fairly indestructible, but I think once I at least reach level 18, we'll go there. So I'm 2 levels off that. I should be able to get those levels whilst I complete the Exalted Plains. Now the Exalted Plains is a large-ish open area with 1 or 2 operations for the war table to do. One of those is to assault a very large keep with an ancient weapon, and the other is a dragon. So we're keeping in the spirit of dragons at the moment, and as you can tell by my voice, I am under the weather. So do forgive me if my voice completely withers by the time this video reaches an end. I'm just going to be taking it easy today. However, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be talking about stuff that's interesting. And so we will continue. We'll be in Skyhold, so we might talk to Cassandra and 1 or 2 other companions before we head out. So the last thing that we done in Val Rayo was to talk to a comte who had information for Josephine. To continue that, we just need to speak to Josephine here once more.
I'm so sorry, Inquisitor. I never thought my family's trading status would trap us in an assassin's plot.
You had no idea.
You couldn't have known it would lead to this House of Repose coming after you.
It still shouldn't have slipped past me. I've tracked down the last Du Paraquets. If they become gentry, they can annul the contract on my life. We'll require a noble from Val Royeaux to sponsor them, a judge to provide documents, a minister to ratify them.
It's so like you to take the longest course of action, even when your life is at stake.
I assume you already know everything about this mess.
There is a faster way, Josephine. The original contract on your life is in the vaults of the House of Repose. If my agents infiltrate it and destroy the original, the assassin will have no obligation to chase you.
Liliana, please. I want no more bloodshed over a personal affair.
Don't be so stubborn, Josie. How long will it take you to gather these favors in Val Rayo?
I'm with Josephine on this.
We can solve this without more deaths on either side.
My people are ready, should you change your mind. I'll post a watch on our ambassador in case the House of Repose visits.
I appreciate it, but I still believe elevating the Du Paraquets will solve this. First, we need to perform some favors in Val Royeaux. I'd be happy to discuss where we could begin. Any news on the House of Repose, Inquisitor?
What's our next move?
You said I'd have to do some favors in Val Royeaux if we want to make the Du Paraquets lords.
The Countess Dion is our first step. Her lover, a mage from the White Spire, is missing. Bring her news of him and she'll be very amenable to sponsoring the Du Paraquets as lords.
Okie dokie, so we're going to do this Josephine's way, as both Liliana and Josephine are adept at playing the game. The game is something we'll have to become acutely aware of and be able to play when we get to Halam Shirao, so which is why I choose to do it this way, to remind myself of just how Orlais functions. You know, find a missing person and do favors, or talk in a specific fashion and not be too vague but not be too direct, that kind of a game.
Good book?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Of course.
Yes, because I suddenly went blind.
Oh, that. Just reports from Commander Cullen.
You're an excellent liar.
It's of no interest to you, I'm certain. It's a book.
I can see that.
It's one of Varric's tales. Swords and Shields. The latest chapter.
So you've read them all?
The latest chapter? Meaning, you've read them all?
Not since this all began. We've been busy.
That's just her favorite.
Nobody asked you to winter.
I couldn't finish the last one you lent me. I actually feel dumber for having tried.
It's literature. Smutty literature. Whatever you do, don't tell Varric.
He'd be pleased.
Why not? I think Varric would be pleased to have another fan.
Pleased? Yes, that's one word for it. They're terrible. And magnificent. And this one ends in a cliffhanger. I know Varric is working on the next. He must be. You could ask him to finish it. Command him to... Pretend you don't know this about me.
I love this part. I adore how Cassandra's facial expression changes when she realises she's making a bit of a fool of herself. When she's saying command him to, and then switches to pretend you don't know this about me. Aye, aye, aye. We need to speak to Iron Ball, I think. But definitely Sarah. After completing a march on Vashel.
I hear Vashel was good pay for you, Inquisitor. Time to go see if my friends came through too. Got a location for a stash. Hopefully something nice for my trouble. Well, your trouble. Just let me know when you're ready to head out. Be sure to bring your empty pockets.
Let's just go now.
I'm ready if you are.
Always, yeah. My favorite part, this. Let's go see what friends can get us. Wait, this is weird.
What?
I was expecting a village or something. The people that leave me stuff don't trek out to places like this. Give me a city and I'll give you a tour, but surprise, surprise, I don't know stupid woods or ruins. What's that?
Don't hurt me. Harmond made me do it.
Calm down.
Quiet yourself. We're here to help.
Help? Had enough help. I complain about a fight and suddenly I'm an agent or something.
You were the one with the rumor out of Vashel. My friend.
You're her. You're the one he's waiting for. It's her. She's here. Red Jenny.
Oi. We got a bunch of mercenaries. So clearly something on the end of getting rewarded for this has gone wrong.
Whoa, hold on. I was not aware the Inquisitor was personally involved. This is a tragic misunderstanding. Let's all sheath our swords, you walk out, and we'll conduct this like business.
Don't believe this piss bag. He started it.
Oh, I'm acutely aware. Noble.
There. That wasn't so hard, was it? We identified the confusion, and we worked past it. I'm Lord Pel Harmond. I do hope, Inquisitor, that you continue to respond to reason. After all, your choice of company is hardly virtuous.
Freaking user you are. Another noble prick who punches down.
We're the same, you and I. Well, that is overstating it. You are nothing like me. But we both need people.
That's my friend you attacked.
You want to talk now, but Sarah is my ally. You attacked her friends.
Come now. You know how much her meddling cost me. Because apparently you were complicit. Honestly, previous to this very moment, I thought you'd also been tricked by these Red Jennies. You're of noble birth, and as Inquisitor, you are more than a peer. I attacked them on behalf of us both.
Arse biscuit.
Quite. Inquisitor, Herald, I don't want to be your enemy. I'm barely invested in being hers. If you are willing to recognize an opportunity, we could be exceptional partners.
Now, when he says that he's barely invested in being Sarah's enemy, yet he's killed a lot of people to get where he is in order to see Sarah even trying to kill her. So I don't understand his nuance about I'm barely invested in being hers when you've killed everyone to get to her. I'm not going to even bother talking to him. I know there was a land squabble. He was literally fighting with his sister or some distant cousin, I'm sure he'd say. But he killed innocent contacts, so have at him.
Now what was the point of that?
Mother puss bucket, friggin' bastard, shite-bag piss-face. Eat it, you lop-eared son of an arse-nut,
Sarah!
rot-suck piece of...
Sarah!
What?
I think he's dead.
I think you're done. At this point, you're making wine.
Ugh, that makes it worse. Friends, Inquisitor. Better than his lot any day. Hey, you. Know what? Thanks. Felt good to stomp the smile off that pisshead's face. It doesn't go bad like that often, yeah? But when it does, they deserve it.
Unpredictable, but worth it.
Risky, but keep it within the Inquisition and I'll support you.
Even though this puckered around us?
Even so.
Well, good then. Right, what do you mean? Because I am really not used to that acceptance thing you're doing right there.
I want us to be friends, Sarah.
We'll have some differences, but I want to be one of your friends.
You're pretty big to be one of my contacts. Important, I mean, not fat. But all right, Inquisitor. You're on my good side. We'll see if it lasts. Getting serious about mage stuff, magic, things. How about not so much? Just asking for not so much magic. Great, yeah?
Very well, carry on.
I'll be back if I need you.
Go on.
Going to speak to Iron Bull, and then we're going to make our way for the Exalted Plains. I don't really know if there is any cutscenes for Iron Bull at this point. Be surprised if there wouldn't.
How you doing?
You wanted us to get drinks.
You said we should go get some drinks and meet your company?
Yeah, come on. It'll be fun. Ah, good. We're not drinking alone. How you doing, creme de la creme?
Your worship. I'm so glad he has someone new to hit with that joke.
Creme isn't too bad.
I can think of worse places to go with Cremisius.
So can the chief, believe me. He loves his nicknames.
Hey, when I was growing up, my name was just this series of numbers. We all give each other nicknames under the Qun.
They ever wear shirts under the Qun, chief? Or do they just run around binding their breasts like that?
It's a harness, creme.
Yes, for your pillowy man bosoms. Let me know if you need help binding. You could really chisel something out of that overstuffed look.
Why pass as a man?
You don't have to pass for a man to be a mercenary.
I'm not passing as anything.
In Kunadar, creme would be an Akunatlak. That's what we call someone born one gender but living like another.
And Kunari don't treat those Akun people any differently than a real man.
They are real men, just like you are.
Maybe your people aren't so bad after all.
Don't get your hopes up, Creme. We still come down hard on the back talk. Anyway, here's the rest of the charges, or what's left of the rest. A lot of them went looking for stronger drinks. We've got Rocky and Skinner there, and over there Stitches, Dalish, and Grim. Crazy bunch of assholes, but they're mine.
Where are you from, Rocky?
Were you born on the surface, or are you from Orzammar?
Orzammar. I got exiled. Stupid noble crap. Also, I accidentally blew up a bit of the shape ray.
Rocky's one of our best sappers. He can take down enemy fortifications faster than a golem.
I'm also working on my own version of Kunari black powder. I've almost got it.
Yeah, you really don't.
Why leave your clan?
Why aren't you with your clan?
Our keeper thought I should see the world a little.
Dalish don't have Templars, so they can't have too many mages in a clan at once.
Now, sir, you know I'm not a mage. That'd make me an apostate.
You carry a staff, Dalish.
It's a bow.
A bow with a giant glowing crystal at the tip.
Yes, it's for aiming. Old elven trick you wouldn't understand.
Very well. Skinner?
So how'd you join the Chargers?
Killed some people.
Skinner didn't take kindly to nobles testing their new swords on the elves in her alienage.
Bull took me in. Now I get paid to kill shams.
This is actually really good behavior for her. She's not marking her territory or anything.
And Stitches?
I take it you're the company healer.
Yes, first time I ever picked up a sword was when the Blight hit Ferelden. Never put it back down.
He makes a potion that'll put you right back on your feet after even the toughest fight. It tastes terrible, though.
That's because it's a poultice, sir. You're not supposed to drink it.
And Grim.
Grim, is it?
Grim doesn't talk much. I'm pretty sure he's the lost king of some small country, or chieftain. Something like that.
This is quite a group.
You really take it anyone, don't you?
Anyone who can carry their weight in a fight.
And who can put up with your bullshit, Chief?
Man can beat the Chargers, cause we'll hit you where it hurts. Unless you know what's happened, we'll just hearts and loose your skirts. For everybody battlefield will gladly raise a cup. No matter what tomorrow holds, our horns be pointing up.
Thanks for coming by, boss. Glad you could meet some of my team.
Very well. Now we're off to the Exalted Plains. Investigate the Exalted Plains. We have established an outpost in the Exalted Plains. Lead Scout Harding is en route and awaiting further orders.
Inquisitor, welcome to the Exalted Plains, a place with a long and bloody history. Even now, the region is volatile. This was a front in the Civil War. Now there's rebels called the Freemen of the Dales, recently emerged and adding to the chaos.
A bloody history?
What history were you talking about?
After the fall of Halam Sharal, what remained of the Elven army met the forces of the Exalted March here. When offered a chance to lay down their arms and surrender, they refused.
And the Freemen of the Dales operate here too?
This rebel group. Tell me more about them.
They seem to be simple deserters, tired of fighting and dying for either the Empress or the Grand Duke. Now they want the Dales for their own. Worse, they're more organized than we anticipated. Be wary.
What else can you tell me?
Scouts have sighted Dalish elves. There must be a clan camped somewhere on the plains.
Okay, thank you.
That will be all. Thank you.
With the rifts and the undead, the Orlesians have lost ground. Most have been driven back to their forts. We have to stabilize the region, allowing the Imperial Army to re-establish its presence. Good luck, Your Worship. You'll need it.
I think I just need to stock up on my potions. Just need to remember where they put the potion stand. Here we go. There we go. Coming to the Exalted Plains makes sense at this point in the game, considering we just done the Emerald Graves. They're more or less the same kind of area. You'll face the same kind of enemies at relatively the same level too. Guardians of the Path. Plaque on the statue reads, "Let the eternal flame purify your soul." Yeah, so there are also Freemen of the Dales out here. This is more or less what you see between the two Imperial forces. Let the light of Andraste lift your spirits. As the Grand Duke and the Empress fight it out with their two armies out here, this is what created the Freemen of the Dales. Ooh, come it. I just got smacked by the shield. And today we're rocking it with Dorian, Sarah and Bull. I'm pretty sure to the next area I will go Solus Blackwall Coal. Gordian's Letter. The Inquisition have arrived. They will take the Dales and say it is the Herald of Andraste's right. There is no such right. These lands should be yours. We cannot allow the Inquisition to gain a foothold as Orlais, true defenders. You know what to do. Gordian. We will meet Gordian at some point, as he is doing some bad juju all the way out here, and we will see such badness not far. Here we can find Freemen of the Dales fighting demons. And when we defeated the last group of freemen, they talked about keeping off the ramparts. This is one such of the ramparts. And here we see an Imperial soldier who's not hostile to us, fighting an undead soldier. Corporal Rosaline.
How can anyone stop these things?
Who are you?
Are you Imperial Army?
Yes, Your Worship. I fight on the side of Grand Duke Gaspard de Chalon, rightful Emperor of Orlais.
The fighting has stopped, yes?
The peace talks in Halam Shiral mean an end to hostilities, don't they?
We're no longer fighting each other, but the demons, the dead. It was easier when we fought just men. You can win against men.
So what's going on here?
What's happened here?
We were trying to retake the ramparts from the dead. They rise here, somewhere within these trenches. It started when those freemen showed up. Strange lights, like blue fire. It must be magic. But the freemen are just deserters from the armies. How could they have managed this? And why?
I should be going.
They're doing this because Gordian, who had a letter we just discovered, is I believe he's Tevinter, or he's some kind of Orlais Tevinter sympathizer. It's tough to tell considering the garb that he wears is more Orlais, but his name suggests Tevinter. I don't know why I'm running through this area, because we are running through quite a lot of undead. Surprised how they haven't spawned behind us, but they will endlessly spawn. That is a certainty. Unless you find a way to keep moving and find the source of the problem, they will keep spawning. And once I level up, I'm probably going to give myself a new fire ability, just to help with this area a little bit. But there is an arcane horror in front of us, which we will need to deal with, because he will just be a bit of an arsehole. Hopefully he shouldn't be that strong. He is level 16. Where did he go? Do you want to see where the horror went? Oh, there he is. Oh, yep, he's really honing in on me. He will do a lot of damage with that beam, and it will damage the barrier quite quickly. So here we have one of the pits that we must set fire to. Each pit will have its own arcane horror. There are 3 ramparts, so that means there are 6.
Someone intended this.
i.e. there are 6 different arcane horrors in this area, and that's just for the pits. There's even still more arcane horrors than that in this part of the game. And there is another arcane horror. Oh yeah, you see how my barrier goes? You see how this thing can survive dragons, but it cannot survive an arcane horror. Just going to give him a bad day. And no mistake, you can do a lot of damage to him as well, but he will ruin you in seconds if you give him any kind of an edge. Oh, much like that. And that was very lucky that I reacted to where he was. As you can see, even as undestructible as I am, this will not be a walk in the park. And now we're being bothered by wolves. I think my one problem right now is Dorian, because he's using an ice staff with a corrupting rune. Using that against undead, that's doing nothing to them. As ice damage will do almost no damage, and there's nothing to corrupt in an undead, so... I mean, I'm doing the most damage with a cleansing rune, as that does more damage to undead and... as that will do most damage to undead and darkspawn, so... let's just deal with these wolves here. It's kind of odd to see wolves on the ramparts. They normally don't... as a pack, they can't normally move through the narrow entryways that they would have to get through. So they must have been chasing a Halla or something, because that's what you would genuinely see them do. Chasing down prey. We saw it in the Emerald Greys and it caused a bit of a mess there. So the Arcane Horror Hearts are actually something we want to pick up as well, because this will help us make very powerful cleansing runes. And now there are even Revenants, which are... so as you see, horrors act like mages, Revenants act like warriors that are demons. So... and that's a step up, and then you'll also be able to make more cleansing runes of a higher level. I'm going to head straight into the neighbouring rampart. This one would have, as you can tell, as you could imagine by the line, this one would have been manned by, if that one was Gaspard de Chalon's rampart, this would have been Empress Celine's rampart. And you can see how close each force is to the other. Just need to get a good look at where these pits are before we jump in. Oh. There's one. And there's the horror. So I believe the other must be right on the other side. So we're going to try and find the normal way in, because if I jump in solo, then I will be on my own. And you can see we've got some Freemen of the Dales walking into this one. We're going to be getting an awful lot of ring velvet, which is good, because it's kind of a tier 2. It's not the best material you can get, but any material in plentiful enough numbers is almost worth it. And here we go. It's very easy to get lost in these ramparts, as they can act almost like trenches. And it's very obscure to know what direction to move into anyway. There we go, so we're going to be chased by them. And... oh. Oh god, you can see how he literally just destroyed me. Where'd he go? No, stop it. Trying to keep up a barrier when he's attacking like that is really difficult. It's just burnt. And down he goes. This is almost, perhaps, the most annoying area in the game for me. Exalted Plains is something I normally leave until I'm a much higher level, but considering I'm using a trial which will mean everything is the same level as me everywhere I go, then there's practically no point. We've got a few demons hanging around here as part of the fade in this area is weakened because of all the fighting. It's like, I think we spoke to either Solus or Cassandra about it, that generals tend to avoid fighting in the same areas because it weakens the veil. This is clearly something that when it, like the Exalted Plains, is still very much an exception to the rule because people are still fighting here. I know there's a quest nearby. It's not going to be something I'm keen on doing, as are much of the side quests in the Exalted Plains. There are very few that I have my eyes on, and those will be the ones that I do. Especially that of Vivienne's and restoring contact. So we'll be doing all the ramparts. We won't even be messing around with the clan, the Dalish clan that is indeed out here somewhere, just because there's no real reward to it. And considering how there are a few elven ruins in this area, but the elves are just like, oh no, 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 stay away, stay away. And then it's just kind of really annoying. You can see how I should have probably changed my staff to that of a fire staff, but I'm still quite happy with the one that I have. I don't want to expend resources, especially when I don't exactly have enough tier 3 resources to make a fire staff of any particular damage, or at least that doesn't come anywhere close to what I'm using right now. I'm having to stick with lightning and having to rely on lightning quite heavily. Dorian's in trouble. Probably because they're fighting the arcane horror. It is actually a good thing, as arcanes tend to like lightning the least. They're not fond of spirit damage to themselves, but slightly resistant given their demonic nature. There we go, so we have another arcane horror heart. You are almost, I think you are guaranteed an arcane horror heart with every arcane horror you kill, considering it's a very rare resource and you can't really get it anywhere else. Okay, so now we just need to find the signaling horn for this rampart. It's nice to be doing them rather quickly because pushing through them can be difficult. Just depends on who you have available. I brought Iron Ball along because, you know, with his AoE attacks, he can attack a lot of people at one time. Dorian, I don't really know. I just kind of needed to switch it up a little. Where's the signaling horn? Ah, it's up there. But that goes down. So we need to go up here. Yeah, you can see the flags of Orlais. The white and blue heraldry. There is going to be one more horn like that. What I often thought was that every time when I was setting up a place like this, that they began fighting again. But no, like the Inquisition camps, they're training. So now we just have one more rampart. But I just need to check the map because I do need to aim for something with Vivienne, and it's to the south, I believe. Oh, do not fall on wooden spikes. And these are enemies. I do hope I can take out the Hala, because Hala leather is actually a pretty good material to get your hands on. However, if you spot a golden Hala and you want to do a particular elven quest, do not kill it, because you won't even get golden Hala leather. Okay, so I believe the next rampart is all the way down there, but I need to be heading south under the protection of the Inquisition. We need to be heading for this rocky formation down here. Down here we will find some fallen buildings and some minerals down here as well. You can see one already. Some obsidian. But I need to be picking up like bloodstone and pyrophyte and stuff like that, because I need to be able to make a fire staff at some point, and I do need to level up like I suggest. There we go. So I just took Firewall, which yes is an AoE attack. It was either that or Immolate, and both are good. I decided to go with the Wall of Fire because it will help us do something more against the undead that keep attacking us. Everywhere you go in this area you will find Freemen of the Dales, and you'll find quite a number of them here. And let's just give them a firewall. Now, Freeman Missive from Jocelyn. I don't trust that Gordian fellow. He talks as though he's Orlesian, but I know he's not. I can hear it in his speech. Tell me you hear it too. I wonder what he's doing on that rise. He's forbidden us from going there, but I may take a look in a couple nights. Let me know if you want in. Have you heard anything from the Emerald Graves? They say Duheim's gone. They say Duheim's gone there to lead the Freemen. Damn. I miss him. He was a good commander. A bastard but fair. Gus. Oh, there's a decent number of Hala over there. And some Hala leather, but I need more. Got one. That's some rash fine. Nah. Oh, there's a rift. That's our first rift for the Exalted Plains, but wait. There is something near here. Favors of the First Enchanter. I almost forgot. It is in that building. God, I would have hated it if I'd forgotten about that tome. It's the last one we need for the Favors of the First Enchanter. And there it is. Now I just need to return to Vivienne and tell her the good news. And now our next step is to deal with this rift. There you go, so I've got 2. I'm not getting very lucky with these mineral drops. 2, I'll take it. I've always taken to buying, like metal I'll go out and find, but I'm almost resorted to buying leather from Zenan, the antiquarian, from the Black Emporium near Kirkwall. It's not the biggest bother in the world. It means I don't have to. It just means that I save all my gold and I buy leather. Leather ain't cheap, particularly the good stuff. Where is it? There it is.
I hope it doesn't bother you to travel alongside a bit.
That what you are? You people all kind of look the same to me.
I'm also a mage. Would you prefer me bound and leashed?
I'd buy you dinner first.
Hopefully before you sewed my mouth shut.
Depends how much you keep yapping.
I guess we have a few spirits lingering around. Our next step is going to head towards the final rampart. And then we might do some exploring to the east, southeast. That's because there are a few elven ruins in the area. They have some decent loot, and they'll have decent loot because of the enemies that are in them. You know, revenants and more arcane horrors. I do need the ingredients. So as you can see, the Freemen have this place on lockdown. Doesn't mean we can't give them a bad time, though. Now, I did give Bull a Fade Touched item, which means every time he gets hit, he'll generate guard. It's kind of a good thing to do because I always find that Bull is the easiest companion for enemies to deal with. Because, you know, you've got Blackwall and Cassandra who always use their shields, and they will use their shields to generate guard. For a warrior that uses two-handed weaponry, you have to parry. Now, I don't know if you specifically have to parry, but parrying in this game is all about the timing. And some people just don't have the ability, particularly the computer doesn't have the ability to parry. There you go. So what have we here? The third and final rampart. Now you can see that this one is guarded, has a heavy Freeman presence. This is where Gordian is. Hopefully, anyway. I can't quite remember. I've never approached this rampart from this direction. You can kind of see necropoli that's going on here, the kind of necromancer shit that's going on here. I believe in this one there's only one fight. There's only one pit to destroy. There's no arcane horrors in this one. I just remembered. I know I said there were 6. I think there's only 4. Let's see, what do we have here? Ooh, there's a chest.
Perhaps we should search about a bit.
Nothing really interesting. Some quillback leather and a bottle. Not that I need a bottle. Now, I do detest these buildings. Thankfully, we can't reach the top level of this one because the stairs are out, but there are ones just like it. And these stairs are a bitch to climb, because you can't run up these stairs. It's just on how they were designed in the game. You kind of just tend to stumble up them. So you can see there's more troops fighting demons. I believe we do want to try and stick to the up there a ways. Let's give these guys a bad time. Now and this is the hardest thing about moving around with the ramparts. Your team will split up and fight when you can see balls down here. Sarah and Dorian all the way down there. They're getting crap beaten out of them. Because I know I want to head this way. I think. With all the doors, it's very difficult to tell. Hopefully I'm just on the other side of them. They can make their way to me. Ah, that does the trick. Kind of aiming for this kind of weird tree looking. And here we go. Hi, Gordian. It's just I'm standing in a mine. And yes, please. Ah, you're not going anywhere. He does have the health on his side. And you can see what I mean. This is very much some form of a doublet you would find on an Orlais warrior. They kind of look like pajamas. Here's a bit of a tricky one. You kind of need to deal with all that's around him before you can deal with him, because you need literally everyone to pummel him. I often wondered why the character that you control as a mage does not have the same stance and fighting style as that of enemy mages. You can see that every enemy mage that we have fought, Iron Bull is down. That's helpful. I'm going to cut him down with my Spectral Blade, but his health is massive. Nice one, Dorian. You can see what I mean. A mage managed to bring Bull down. For what Bull is, and for everything that he makes himself out to be, he really shouldn't be able to be defeated that quickly by a mage. There we go.
That's the last of them.
Now I just need to blow this signalling horn. That's the final rampart, but it's not by means the last we've seen of the undead and any other misgivings. You can see what I mean about these steps. You literally just can't find a way to run up them smoothly. Up here we should find a banner of some sorts, I think. Or not. Maybe I was mistaken. You can run down them pretty darn fine, but you can't run up them. There we go. So, just need to blow the signalling horn in this rampart, and it's all the way on the other goddamn side. Might take me a while to find it, 'cause, I mean, I hate this rampart. I hate all the ramparts. And hold your ears. That guy's got some sweet looking armor. Okie dokie. So we're doing well for time in this area. We've done all 3 ramparts. But now we need to return to Corporal Rosaline and tell him that all the rifts all the ramparts have been dealt with. Hello, Corporal.
They did it. I can't believe they retook the ramparts. Maybe if we got word to the Marshal. But Fort Reverson surrounded by undead and locked down.
Fort Reverson, surrounded by undead and locked down.
Should be going.
Enter Fort Reverson, which I believe is up here. Enter Fort Reverson. And there's one, oh I see, one of Dorian's quests for one less Venatori. And yeah, we're going to make a push for Fort Reverson and free the Imperial Army. I can't remember the best way to get there, so we'll start by doing that. To always tell me which direction it's in.
No sign of trouble.
In a way, this, if you do everything in this area, it can be rather a lengthy process to do everything here. Dealing with the specifics that I just want to deal with shouldn't take us that long. We're down the back of the ramparts, and I believe I was heading in the general area. There are some wolves nearby. They seem to be running away from me, but I'm then also walking into the direction they're going, so might as well deal with them. No point not to. That's the problem with fighting wolves, is if the wolves are chasing something and not attacking you personally, they will spread out and they will drag your entire companion crew across the entire plain. So there should still be one out there, see? And it's running back towards us because it's chasing a freaking howler. And now we're chasing the Halla, because why the hell not, right? Is it dead, Dorian? Is it dead? I think it's dead. Alright, on to Fort Reverson, and hopefully no more wolves. I think you should be able to just be able to spy Reverson through these kind of tall looking spires that are peering through. Ah! And Inquisition soldiers have some loot for me. Masterwork dagger grip. Nice. That was something I said the other day. I picked up a Navaran sword grip, which was also something I'd never seen before. Hello. Halla leather, I'll take it. Steep stalker hide and some samite. Yeah, Reversan should just be through these spires, these natural rock formations. There will be an arcane horror over there as well, trying to batter down the door. Oh, wait. Could be useful. So there was the third and final rampart. Looks like we want to head this way. Looks like Reversan. Now, to be all nerdy, I named a. I play it and I dabble with a bit of Minecraft, and I created a. If you're familiar with Minecraft and you're familiar of the material that is prismarine and where you have to get that, I made an entire tower that reaches the skybox out of prismarine, and I mined the entire red sandbank and turned it into red stone sand, and I have a giant blue tower that's guarded by a kind of rosy hinted colourful wall, kind of like a formation built on the side of a rather large lake, ocean almost.
Supposed to laugh exactly.
Cruel and stupid, like.
Oh no, you're not allowed to laugh like that until you get your Magister license.
Knew it. Varric owes me a sovereign.
And I called that place Reversan, and for the life of me, I can't remember what Reversan means. I'll probably look it up. It would be very nice if you was to stop teleporting. And the arcane horror is down. So that's what now? 5 arcane horror hearts we've collected, so we should be able to make a pretty decent cleansing rune. I'm using cleansing runes specifically because we're fighting a lot of Red Templars, a lot of undead, and a lot of Darkspawn. Plus they kind of make my staff look like Gandalf's staff, and that I can never resist. However, I've given both Sarah and Dorian corrupting runes, which is pretty darn stupid considering where we are. I should have given them more cleansing runes. So here we are at Fort Reversan. We need to speak to the commander in this place. He should just be in front of us. Marshal Prue.
That was a brilliant show, Inquisitor. My men had barely been keeping the Horde at bay. Bastien Prue, Marshal of the Grand Duke's forces here in the Dales.
I've reclaimed the ramparts.
I've cleared out the dead from the western ramparts.
You did? Maker's breath. There's hope for us, if the ramparts have been reclaimed. I'd alert our forces stationed outside the Dales, but the chaos makes it difficult for missives to get through. Demons, those blasted freemen, or whatever they call themselves.
Why are you barricaded in here?
Why have you barricaded yourselves in here?
We had to retreat from the Western Front. The demons and undead were too much. But it's no better here. My patrols don't return, messages are lost. I've had no word from the capital in weeks. If we could regain our outposts, the ramparts, or even the garrison by the river, we can't just keep hiding. I want to die like a soldier, not cowering under a bed, praying the monsters don't get me.
That's probably the fairest thing he could ever have said. Freemen of the Dales?
I've heard something of the free men of the Dales. What do you know about them?
They're a mob of traitors, too soft for war. Thought it was a skirmish or two, then back for supper. Turns out it wasn't. And off they run to the first person to tell them their tantrums are acceptable. Now they want independence. To establish a new settlement. Ridiculous.
Goodbye.
I shall take my leave.
Be well.
Yeah, so he spoke of a garrison by the river. That will be a next stop. Because down there is probably even worse than how these guys have it. I believe there's also an operation nearby for us to discover, which would be useful. Or I believe it's somewhere here. I know what way we're going to go. Yeah, these buildings here, I think we need deft hands and fine tools to unlock, which is a little irritating. I'm just on the lookout for one of the operations because I know if I'm not careful, I'm going to miss it entirely. Here it is, by the statue of a dread wolf. Collapsed elven ruin. And on the other side of Gillanane's Grove is a dragon. It will be our next dragon we kill. However, I can't remember with just which element this dragon uses. There's the garrison by the river. There's another fort across the river that we were just talking about. And up there is a pretty big statue for the Dreadwolf. And this place got absolutely wrecked by the war. A civil war, mind you, yet it's destroying everything in Ville-Monte-de-Villaine. Oh, we've spoken of Ville-Monte-de-Villaine. In fact, very recently, when in the Emerald Graves, there was a scientist from there, or a historian. And will you stop doing that? Rage demon down. Awesome. So can I disrupt this without being attacked? Yes, I can. And there's a revenant. And down goes the revenant. Hopefully he would have been kind enough to drop us a heart. Was he? Yes, he was. Ouch. I guess it's a despair demon, isn't it? There you go, that despair demon did not like that. There's even more demons on the other side, but they're fighting wolves. It's not a fight I want to get in the way of. I want to head for the garrison. And the bridge, in fact, to grab the operation. There you go, Citadel du Corbeau. This place we were just in is Ville-Monte-de-Villaine. So Ville-Monte-de-Villaine has been destroyed entirely. And Fort Reverson back over there is almost a ruin itself. I'm surprised how it even had a door. There you go, so there's a pretty awesome looking statue here. Pont Auger. Dedicated to all elven and human who lost their lives in the Second Exalted March, Pont Orga was built 100 years after the Exalted March of the Dales. It was named for Mayor Orga of Vilmonte-Villain, who raised the money to have the bridge built after several villagers drowned in a ferry accident trying to cross the river, swollen after the rains. Some villagers took offence at the dedication message on the bridge, which honours fallen elves as well as humans. Rumours that the mayor was elf-blooded began circulating. He was forced to step down. Oh, forgive me. Let me read this properly. Rumours that the mayor was elf-blooded began circulating. He was forced to step down. Right, my eyes weren't working there. So there's the bridge, and the bridge has also been destroyed.
That's convenient. Someone can fix this, right?
Oh yeah. You're just gonna wish we weren't on the other side. Just be this. What's going on the other side is a nightmare. But there are once again Imperial troops stuck in that fortress up there, and they're being literally attacked from all sides by the undead. And what do we have here? Viridium? Viridium? There we go, there's the garrison.
The demons are coming from down there. A rift.
Okey-dokey, let's deal with this. So there's a rift underneath this complex. Not quite, but give it time. We need to find a way downstairs. And even lower still. So here we have undead and a room full of wraiths. There we have our arcane horror. Still just as powerful as the ones that we've been fighting all over. Let's finally close this one. Now I just need to blow the signalling horn here. That's where the arcane horror died, and there seems to be something. A bottle. These bottles are everywhere and they're just so goddamn useless. You can see why the undead was able to take a claim here. It's some kind of elven catacomb. So we saw the signalling horn is just on top. It should just be around this corner. There it is. And we'll see that we were unable to do this in time to save the soldier here. But he was alive long enough to tell us that the rift was in the basement, and that was the important thing, because if we didn't know where the rift was, it'd probably take us playing through on your first time. If he didn't tell you where the rift was, then it would probably take you a little bit longer. Riverside Garrison. This ancient structure has stood since the time of the Elven Kingdom of the Dales. Since then, it has fallen into ruin. No one alive knows for what the elves used it. Grand Duke Gaspard's forces claimed it as an outpost early in the Orlesian Civil War. Well, I think downstairs it kind of tells us this must have been some form of a chapel or catacomb to the undead, because there's plenty of them downstairs. Ay, ay, ay. Now I can't remember. I believe, is there a rift over here? Yeah, there is. This place not as green as the Emerald Graves, but it's just as dreary a place as the war that's going on here, so I do find it to be a very fitting area. Although it looks very drab and very brown and very boring, it's sad. You can feel the sadness of this place because it's weak in the Vale. This is why there are so many rifts so close to each other. So many people have died here. And literally the environment knows this. There we go, last rift of the day. And intense spirit essence, so we're catching up on those spirit runes. And cleansing runes. So who knows? The next time you might see me, the Inquisitor might look a little different. There we go, guys, that's the end of that episode of Dragon Age Inquisition. We've just worked ourselves halfway through the Exalted Plains. Now all we need to do is get the War Council to rebuild that bridge and open up the way to Gilanine's Grove, so that we can free the rest of the Empress Celine's army from where they've barricaded themselves in. Mostly we've just been concentrating on Grand Duke Gaspard, but now in the next part we will free the Empress Celine's army, and then the Peace Hawks can go ahead as per the norm, and that should be the Exalted Plains done and dusted after we've slain the dragon. Now I need to remember which dragon or which element this dragon is, because I do want to fine tune myself to actually fighting it, because this environment around this dragon is not a very forgiving one. So there we go, guys. I will see you on the next one, and hopefully with a slightly better voice.